Hey everybody, KC0VI Tom and Little Dougie. And how you doing, Mrs. Crowley? We are sitting out here on the patio enjoying the nice weather. We've just kind of had a little break and a little heat wave here in the Midwest, and today got up like 70 something. What'd you sit in? Oh man. Okay, we're gonna have to take you somewhere. The fun of owning a dog. Last couple of videos ago, 2 or 3 videos, we were talking about field day. We went up to the Austin Amateur Area Radio Club in Austin and helped them out with field day. Had a lot of fun. KB0SPM and John and I went over to the Stewartville group and see what they were doing. Came back, and it was in the midst of the hot, muggy weather. We had a couple good thunderstorms roll through, and the other day at work here this week, had a couple of people stop and ask me, you go, okay, you went field day and your guys were playing the radio. What is really field day? So we'll talk about field day here for the non-amateur radio people. For the amateur radio people, tag along and see how many things I get wrong and make comments down below in the comment sections, and we'll go from there. You want to go out and sniff bushes, huh? Okay, I gotta set her down. Every day she has to go and check out. Oop, you okay? Sorry. Check out all the flowers and count them, make sure they're all there. So, field day. Field day is a nationwide event for amateur radio operators. Field day is actually sponsored by or ran by the ARRL, and it's held the third weekend in June. The basic of field day is it's a simulation of some national event where amateur radio operators Amateur radio operators are requested by the federal government or state government or regional government or county government, local government. It's not really spelled out, it's just a government, to set up a communication network to pass health and welfare traffic, render aid traffic, stuff like that. And I always tell people there's 4 goals in field day. So that's the scenario. We got some type of national emergency, and we have to set up a communication network with our clubs or by yourself. And part of the scenario is your QTH or where your radios are at is inhabitable. You can't be in there for one reason or another. Now, it doesn't mean you have to take out all your equipment. You may have a go bag set up where you just take a certain number of radios and an antenna all set up in a bag to go out in the woods and set it up or somewhere. And that's the whole idea of this. So, man, that's one nasty fly. So that first goal of field day is to set up in a temporary location, a safe location, and to be able to make communication with other operators across the country. Goal number 2 of this exercise is to make as many contacts as possible in a 24-hour period. It runs from like 1 o'clock Central Time on Saturday to 1 o'clock Central Time on Sunday, and that's how field day operates in the summertime. There's also a winter field day that is held the 3rd weekend in January. So you can imagine what the criteria of that is. You're not sitting out here on the lawn chair in North Iowa. You're usually bundled up in the back of a car or something. But the 3rd goal of field day, and this is true for summer and winter field day, is to promote field day to the general public. And we'll talk about more of that here in a little bit. Then, of course, the 4th goal of field day is to have fun. Now, I don't know if it's just the same fly or it's just the whole family visiting me. So, when you get everything set up with your group of friends or your radio club, you find out how many stations you're going to have on the air at the same time, type of electrical power. You're going to run on city power, or your local utility, or you're running on battery, generator, solar, and your state designator. I gotta switch hands here. So what's going to happen is, we're still siding the house here. When I was with the Austin group, we were a 3 Alpha Minnesota. We had 3 stations running. We're running on Alpha power, and we're in Minnesota. Now, when I make a contact with somebody and that is logged into the software, there's a multiplying factor. If you're running on local utility power, you get 1 point. If you're on battery backup, or if you're on a solar or a generator, there's a multiplier factor in there where now that 1 point turns into 3 or 4 points. And the ones with the most points at the end of the 24-hour period wins bragging rights for the following year. So that's the whole, one of the incentives of field day is to make contacts, get points. And some clubs get very serious about it. They'll have a schedule made up by, 1st of June where you're going to work this shift. You're on these bands. You're going to take care of this on these bands at this shift. You're going to be charged the food. Oh yeah, field day is notorious, very good famous for their meals. And it boils down to like the club I belong to in Austin. It's more of a social event. We'll say, hey, everybody meet up at the location at 10 o'clock that Saturday. We show up there, look around, figure out where we're going to park the tower trailer, what antennas we're going to use, what radios we're going to use. And, somebody's always got a radio to sell, or somebody's looking to buy something. Somebody wants to demonstrate something they found. And of course, the most important deal is, did SVG bring the potato salad? Did AAB bring the barbecue? VII, did you bring the Granny's beans? It's more of a social event. We have a lot of fun. We make contacts, and an enjoyable deal. The other ways to get bonus points is during the setup of your equipment to have a safety officer, one person designated to look over the group of the guys and gals setting everything up. Make sure nobody doesn't get hurt. When we're lofting antenna, usually I tell them to get 90 degrees from us so you get a different field of view of how that antenna is going up. So if you see something we don't see from our vantage point, they may see. Is it going to get in the trees? Is it going to hit a power line? When the general public shows up, what are you doing with all those wires up there? You can explain to them, well, we're amateur radios and we're just doing this exercise. You can get bonus points for having a person that's designated be the greeter, to have a table set up with handouts. The ARRL has some very good handouts. You just download and print them up to give them to people, the general public, so they have an idea of what we do on these weekends. Besides sit around, eat, have a lot of fun, and down south you sweat. Up here, the North Country, it's comfortable till winter field day. Then it's reversed where we freeze and they're comfortable. Another way to get some bonus points is have what they call a go-to station. Get on the air, where it's a small station setup. It's being supervised by somebody in the club or group. So when Joe Public shows up, you can set them down and show them how to run the radio and explain what we're going to do, and they make the contact. I seen a club a few years ago. They actually had a large piece of paper in big, bold print, and this was laminated. Set up. Somebody had one of those instant laminators. And across the top was the club designator or the call sign they were using for the event. Down below was the designator for their stations. They were like a 3 alpha whatever. Then below that was different signal levels, 5x5, 5x7, 5x9, stuff like that. And then at the very bottom was thank you, good luck with the contest. And what they were doing, they get, the person that just the general public would sit down on the radio, they would key the mic up, and the amateur radio operator would point, okay, we are here's our call sign. The other station would come back and ask for a designator. Then they'd point to the designator, and the guy would read off for a 3 Alpha Minnesota. What's your signal report? Then you go 5x9 or 7x9, whatever it was. Then at the very end, you point down to the thank you and good luck on the contest. Then after the contact was made, the person would go through and explain to them what this person had done during that contact. And the person lights up. Joe Poe has never done this before. He just talked to somebody from Iowa to North Carolina, and he thinks that's the neatest thing since sliced bread. And they get interested in amateur radio. That's the whole goal of this exercise. Winter Field Day, again, third weekend in January. There are some provisions in there for the temperature. There is some multiplying factors in there for what type of structure you're in. And again, same setup. And it can be brutal. I remember one field day when we got up to get going up there, it was minus 14 degrees outside. That's just temperature. That was not including the wind chill. For you southern people, that's like 43 degrees below freezing. Yeah, where water freezes. And then that video we shot that day, that morning, I took a glass of hot water and threw it in the air and just instantly turned to steam. It turned to vapor, and that was it. So yeah, it can get brutally cold out there, which is, you got to plan around it. Then there's been other winter field days where it was, 20 degrees at the start, and by the end of the deal, it was almost 35. So it's weather's going to be variable, just like summer. So that's the whole idea of field day. Now, again, like I said, we have summer field day now and winter field day. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice recruiting tool. It keeps you active, keep your ability to make contacts, to talk on the radio up there. It's a lot of fun. Also, as you look around all the other people at different radios and come up with different ideas, you have an opportunity to spend a little bit of your hard-earned cash. Have some fun. So hopefully I was able to explain what field day is for your non-amateur radio operators out there, and for the operators out there. Did I get everything right? Did I miss anything? A lot of clubs, like I said, there's different levels of activity. Whatever your club likes to do it. I mean, get out there and enjoy. Get on the air. Promote this hobby to the general public. There's a lot of neat things along that you can do. This last field day, UWF out of Adams, Minnesota, got me interested in these mesh-tastics, the mesh networks, and playing around with that a little bit here in town, and hopefully I have a video on that, explain what I'm doing, what we're trying to do as a club. That brings open a lot of neat opportunities for your club. It gives another avenue of communication. And one thing I don't like, anytime you get on YouTube and you look at, what is mesh-tastic, what is a mesh network, and the first thing they say is, it's off-grid communication. No, it is not off-grid communication. You are not on a cell tower network. You are not on the internet. You are setting up your own network. You're setting up these little modules, and each module is talking to its buddy, and that's your network. It is not off-grid. Off-grid means you're not connected to anything. You're by yourself. That's off-grid. But you're not. You're setting up your own grid, your own network, which could be a lot of fun. And the encryption, if you want to. On that, I'm rambling. 7-3, everybody. Stay safe. Be sure to tell your friends, neighbors, other hams. Subscribe, hit that bell to get notification when new videos come out. Add comments below. 7-3, everybody. 3, 2,